Hello guys, welcome back. So now I have did some tweak to the shape of the hair. So I make them all oriented towards the outside and try to fix the clipping problem I have on the different hair strands. I still have some, so yeah, it's gonna be a long-term tweaking if you really want to make everything perfect. Okay. Anyway, so after this, what we can do now is go grab the hair and start to create the UV part. Because the UV editor, you can see, well, the UV is actually, okay, it's just in the U1V1 space, and it's filling its entire space. Alright. But we're going to create actually multiple hair textures. So those hair textures will be aligned in this horizontal, like column way. Actually, it's actually in the row way. So we have a row of hair textures, and different hair strands or hair cards may read different ones here. And so we can have really dense ones. We can have some other not as dense ones. So that way we can have this variation of hair texture. Now to be able to achieve that though, we need to go start actually shrink the UV into like much thinner chunks. Okay, so what I need to do is grab all the UVs here, select them all. If your performance is not fast enough, if your computer got stuck when you're dragging things around, that's probably because you have too much haircuts to operate. You can enhance your speed by actually changing your selection into a smaller portion, maybe the top parts here. Okay, right. I can Control G to group them together and name this guy hair top left or right. Okay, I can operate on this smaller one first. Okay, I can grab out the UV now, and you can see it's much faster. And we can go for transformation here and change the scale to be half on the U direction. So you check on U and change that to 0.5, click it twice. Or you can also do, actually I'm gonna do 0.125. Click it just once, and then move it away to this very end or this very edge. Doesn't matter which one it is, just align it to one of the edges. If I want to move it like precisely there, I have to go to the tools, actually view, and then grid. In the grid settings, make sure that you have the grid line to be every 1.125. That's gonna allow you to drag all your UVs while holding down X to snap it to this last column here. Can see we have like 8 columns, and we'll have 8 hair textures, okay, for different hair strands. Okay, so that's one part. I can Control H to hide them now and just go for the next portion. Okay, and Control G again, and this is going to be the hair bottom or side right. Okay, and again we do the same thing here. It's the UVs, and then grab the UVs and do that little trick, holding down X or drag it to here. We start with pulling all the UVs to the very last here. Okay, and then we can move some of the hair we want to have like simpler, or you know, because in the UVs we'll have like 8 different hair textures. From right to the left, we'll have denser ones and not as dense ones and loose ones, and maybe on the very last we have smaller hair strands, 1 or 2 strands, so that way we have all those variations. Okay, let me grab this guy, these guys, Control G. This is going to be the hair back right. Okay, the UV editor here, and do the same thing basically. And then drag it over there. If your computer is fast enough, you could do that on everyone, but my computer just having trouble doing that, so I need to do that like one by one. I mean a little portion and then another little portion so that I don't have performance issue. Okay, so okay, Control G. This is going to be the hair side left. Actually, this is a side. Let's go back. Back underscore left. And then go to UV editor again. Grab all the UVs, shrink it, and then move it there. Okay, and then add that group. So we need to then grab these guys. Object mode, of course. Okay, maybe not including these guys. Control G. Hair side left. Okay, let's just add that, and then we go to object mode, grab the rest, Control G, and then that's going to be the hair top left. It may not be the top, but yeah, it should be fine. I just organizing stuff. I don't really mean it. I think I just need to have some groups to be able to control those things without performance issue. Alright, so this is the preparation for the UV part. We can unhead everything here, and just to be able to visualize things better, I can grab some of the hair. I'm sure that I need to use a simpler or a looser hair texture. I can grab these guys and say, okay, you guys will be guaranteed to use a much looser like hair cards, hair texture. So what I can do here then is I can grab those hair cards and then go to the UV and then grab the UVs and then move them to maybe to here or there, and maybe even those very front ones can be using this one, and maybe you can be using this one. So you can start distributing those different haircuts to different parts. So these guys in the middle, like I go to the side view and grab those guys. I will tweak those guys later on eventually, but for those guys I could say, okay, you guys can have some secondary thickness. So I'm gonna grab these and then say you guys will read the second one, and then I can Control 1 to isolate these. The object mode, I can select some of these guys and then maybe assign a different one here. But now I'm basically working blend, so I'm not sure if I'm using the correct one or not yet, but I'm just predicting like what I need eventually. So these guys here, maybe I can make them read also a different one. Okay. Alright, it's up to you to eventually define which one read which UV grade, but it's better to have a variant distribution here. Okay, so you can see we have every part that takes something, and eventually we can just go to UV mode and double click on that UV and drag it over to here, and double click on another UV and drag it over here, and basically just randomly position these guys one by one, so we don't have everyone that's using the same first UV first hair texture set basically. All right. So this is going to be the UV preparation part. You don't have to spend a lot of time in here. Just assume that what's gonna be look like, but you can always tweak these guys later on. So for now, we'll just have some random distribution of these guys. It's not really set in stone yet. Alright, so let's move on to the next video and we can talk about the creation process of the hair texture. Okay, see you next time.